All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a daily traffic habit that is, quite frankly, quietly turning into a national emergency. I mean, we see it every single day here in India, right? A bike zips past you from the opposite direction, or maybe a car just suddenly swerves into your lane because they're trying to skip a massive traffic jam. It feels normal. It almost feels like this weird, localized survival tactic. But this one specific violation, wrong side driving, is far from a harmless shortcut. Let's actually look at what the data tells us about the true cost of this epidemic. Now, a recent viral video from July 2026 really hit the nail on the head when it comes to our cultural temptation to take these deadly shortcuts. It showed this white Kia SUV just brazenly driving against traffic on the rightmost lane in Mahadevapura, Bangalore. And look, this wasn't just a tiny oops, I made a mistake moment. No, it was a blatant, calculated move, and it sparked absolute outrage online. People were furious, and honestly, they had every right to be, because this isn't some isolated incident. Whether it's near a petrol pump in BTM layout or on a packed highway, wrong side driving has become this alarming new norm. It's literally a roll of the dice where a driver is wagering everyone's safety just to save, what, a couple of minutes? So, here's what we're going to cover today. First, we'll look at the physics of fatal crashes. Second, the strict laws and steep fines. Third, the hidden financial blow. And finally, fixing this wrong side epidemic. Moving right into Section 1, the physics of fatal crashes, the deadly reality of impatience. Okay, I really want you to look at this staggering figure, 9,432. That is the exact number of people who lost their lives to wrong side driving and lane discipline in India in 2023 alone. That's according to the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. To put that into perspective, that's a terrifying jump from previous years. It actually makes wrong side driving the third leading cause of road deaths in the entire country, sitting right behind speeding and drunk driving. Absolutely wild. And the ruthless math behind a head-on collision is, well, it's terrifying. Think of it like this. When you drive on the wrong side, you're essentially setting up a high-speed trap. Say you're going 60 kilometers per hour, right? And a car comes at you correctly in their lane, also doing 60. The crash doesn't happen at 60, it happens at a combined force of 120 kilometers per hour. Because the driver going the right way literally isn't expecting you, there's zero reaction time, no time to brake, no time to swerve. Modern vehicles just instantly turn into deadly projectiles, causing massive, devastating, blunt force trauma. But here is the really crucial point. Wrong side driving disproportionately endangers the most vulnerable people out there on the road. A massive 45% of these road deaths are two-wheeler riders, and another 20% are pedestrians. In these high-fatality urban zones, these vulnerable groups make up the vast majority of casualties. So when a heavy vehicle cuts across a divider to save some time, it's usually the person walking or riding a scooter who ends up paying the ultimate price. And as we can see from the data from the Transportation Research and Injury Prevention Center, this danger is heavily concentrated in very specific environments. High congestion, mixed traffic cities suffer dramatically higher fatality rates. Take Jaipur, for instance, they have a massive road death rate of 19.1 per 100,000 people, compared to, say, Kolkata sitting way down at just 1.6. It makes sense, right? When you mix extreme vehicle density with trucks, cars, bikes, and pedestrians all fighting for the same tiny bit of space, the temptation to take a wrong side shortcut just skyrockets. And unfortunately, so does the death toll. All right, let's shift gears to Section 2, strict laws and steep fines, the enforcement reality. So, under the amended Motor Vehicles Act, the days of just tossing a 100-rupee note at a traffic cop and driving away, yeah, those days are completely over. The base fines are incredibly steep now, starting at up to 1,000 rupees. But if you're in a city like Delhi, repeat offenders face massive, non-compoundable penalties that can reach up to 10,000 rupees. And by non-compoundable, I mean you can't just settle it on the spot. These cases are often forwarded directly to a virtual traffic court where a judge gets to decide your fate. But actually, fines are just the beginning of your problems. In 2026, cities like Mumbai and Delhi elevated habitual wrong side driving from a simple traffic ticket to a full-blown criminal offense. Under Section 281 of the new Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, or the BNS, police can now book repeat offenders for rash driving. That means an official FIR, vehicle seizure, and the very real possibility of spending up to 6 months in jail. Let that sink in. You could literally lose your freedom just for skipping a U-turn. And if you think, hey, I'll just look around, make sure no cops are there before I make my illegal turn, well, think again. Modern enforcement is almost entirely digital now. Cities are deploying AI-powered automatic number plate recognition, or ANPR cameras, everywhere. The very moment your tires cross over into that oncoming lane, the camera flags the violation and automatically fires an e-chon straight to your phone. It's basically a zero-tolerance digital net that never, ever sleeps. On top of that, under the new 2026 graded point system, every single violation directly drains points from your digital license. A wrong-side driving offense, that'll strip 3 to 5 points right off your record. Cross the threshold and the system triggers an immediate 6-month license suspension. Add in spot checks for missing documents, like maybe you forgot your pollution certificate or your insurance, and police actually have the authority to confiscate your vehicle right there on the spot. It is an incredibly strict system they've put in place. Which brings us to Section 3, the hidden financial blow, beyond the chillin'. Okay, so let's say you've survived the crash, you paid those hefty court fines, and maybe you even managed to keep your license. What happens to your wallet next? Well, since January 2026, your e-chalons are directly linked to your insurance-linked behavior score. Insurance companies now see that wrong-side driving chalon on the record and instantly flag you as high risk. We're talking a 15 to 20% premium hike the second you renew your policy. But it gets so much worse. Because wrong-side driving is an intentional illegal act, if you get into a crash, the insurance surveyor can completely deny your own damage claim. You could be left paying 100% of a massive vehicle repair bill entirely out of pocket. And for habitual offenders, insurers might just cancel your policy altogether. No insurance for you. Finally, Section 4, fixing the epidemic, systemic solutions. So, how do we actually put an end to this? Ending this crisis definitely requires a unified approach. For one, we need smart road engineering. Things like strong physical median barriers that make it literally impossible to cut across a divided road. We also need much better road design that includes accessible, clearly marked U-turns so drivers aren't even tempted to cheat the system. And of course, we have to pair this with an aggressive, zero-tolerance expansion of those AI camera networks we talked about. Because if drivers know they're going to get caught 100% of the time, the behavior stops. Simple as that. Education is also super vital here. People absolutely need to understand the brutal physics of a 120 km/h combined impact before they turn that steering wheel. To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought about your own daily commute. Look, we all feel the pressure of the clock when we're stuck in gridlock. I get it. That empty lane on the wrong side, it looks like such an easy escape. But when your life, the lives of totally innocent, vulnerable pedestrians, your freedom from jail, and your entire financial security are all on the line, is saving those 2 minutes really worth risking absolutely everything? Just keep that in mind the next time you think about taking a shortcut. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and please, stay safe out there.